Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, Mason African Motives. Still working on O-level mathematics past exam papers. So I'm not gonna waste much time. I'm just going to focus on this paper, November 2007 paper one. It's actually one of the best question papers. It was a simple question paper. And there are some of the things that I want us to actually understand from these question papers, which is very, very important in our examination. So this is one of the question papers actually that is some of the things that I wanted to just have that basic part, that basic knowledge. Okay, so let us quickly rush through the questions, guys. We're given the first part 1548. That is the number that we're given. Correct to one significant figure. These are the simplest questions, and most people tend to make mistakes on these typical questions. Anyways, let us see what you're going to have on the first item to one significant figure. Okay, remember we are referring to the whole numbers in this case, so we're just going to count the first whole number, which is 5, which is what. So is this 5 going to change this one? Is it possible for this 5 to change this one? Yes, remember whenever it is at 5 or more than 5, it can change this number. So it means it's going to be a 2. So this one is going to be affected. It's going to be 2. And all these values will be represented with zeros like that. So it will be 2000, not only 2. So most of you guys, you just write it as 2. You are done. That is wrong. All the numbers, they are going to be represented by zeros after changing that number. Okay, then to the nearest 10, we are going to write this number. Remember, these are your units here. So we've got units, sorry. We've got tens, 100 units, 10, 100, and so forth. So to the next 10, we are focusing on this 4. So this 8 is going to change this 4 into 5. So it's going to be 1, 5, 5. Then what happens? It has changed this 4 into 5. What is going to happen with the 8? The 8 is going to be a 0. Okay, so that will be our number. Okay, then you are given 0,00349 correct to 3 decimal places. So you're going to count 3 digits after the comma. This is 0,00349. So we need 3 digits after the comma. We're going to count 1, 2, 3. So 4 is less than 5. It cannot change this number. So it is going to remain as 0,003. So that is what you are going to have in this case. So I think it was actually clear on the first part of the question. Let us see the other part, which is question 2. 2a, write down 13 over 40 as a decimal. So there, guys, we're just dividing as a decimal 13 over 40. That's, you're going to divide 40 into 13. That's a 0 here, comma. The moment you put a comma, you're putting a 0 there. But now the number, it has changed. Instead of using 40 into 30, you can reduce this 0 here and this 0 here. So it means you're simply now saying 4 into 13. So you're now working with smaller values. So that is what you're going to use. So 4 into 13 is going to give us 3 into 12. And we've got a remainder of 1, 0 there. 4 into 10, that is 2. We've got a remainder of 2 into 8. 4 into 20, which is going to be 3, 5. Okay, so it's going to be comma 3, 2, 5. Then 4,850 is a number in standard form. So remember, guys, standard form has to be between 1 and 10. So you're going to convert this number first to standard form, which is going to be 1, 2, 3. You're going to move 3 commas actually here, which is going to be 4,850 times 10 to the power of 3 times 10 to the power of minus 1. Remember, it's a positive number that is starting. It's a whole number actually. So we are going to have a positive exponent on 3. Then from there, we are multiplying the bases, which are the same. So what we're going to do, we are going to add the powers. So this is going to give us 4,850 times 10 to the power of 3 plus and minus, that's a minus, which is going to give us 2. So it's 4,850 times 10 to the power of 2, just like that, okay? John worked 46.5 hours per week and is paid $5,000 per hour. Find his weekly wage. So these questions, they're just direct. We are given that per hour is given what? $5,000. What about for this 46.5? So you just ask yourself, guys, what is 46.5? That is what you're simply doing. So you're simply multiplying by 46.5 hours. So 46.5 can be 46,5 times 5,000 because it's given per hour. So you multiply by 5,000, or you convert this to an improper fraction. That will be 92 plus 1, which is 93. So it's going to be 93 over 2 times 5,000. So that's what you're going to simply do, guys. And you can reduce this, which is going to give us 200 132,500. All right, so this is what you're going to have if we have to cross check. Okay, solve the simultaneous equations. So here we can use any of the methods. As for me, you can clear fractions. We've got x, which is equal to half y like this. So you can clear fractions or by just multiplying by 2 here by 2. So we are going to have 2 times x, which is 2x is equal to 2 and 2 cancel. That will be y then. So as you can see, we are simply saying y is equal to 2x without fractions. So which means I can substitute in place of y here into equation 3x minus y, which is our y is 2x. So 2x is equal to 7. So which is going to be x is equal to 7. 3 minus 2, that's 1. So it's going to be 1x, which is 7. So if x is 7, what about the value of y? Already we said y is equal to 2x. So which means I can just substitute the value of x, which I obtained, which is 7, so that I can obtain the value of y, which is going to give us 14. So that was the idea there. All right, let us see the other part of the question, which is question 4. We are given Peter, John, Sekai. They share some money in the ratio of 2, 3, as to 5, respectively. So which means this one is for Peter, this one is for John, this one is for Sekai. So express Peter's share as a fraction of John's share. So this one, guys, is Peter over John, Peter over John. So Peter here is 2 over John. Our John is for 3. So that is the ratio. That is what they are saying. Express Peter's share as a fraction of John's share. So it's what Peter has over what John has, just like that. Okay. The D part, if Sekai received 24,000, calculate the total amount shared. Okay, so Sekai is receiving 24,000 here. This is Sekai with 5. So you're simply saying 5 according to the ratio of Sekai is corresponding with $24,000. What about the total, which means you add the total ratio 2 plus 3 plus 5, that's going to be 10. So 10 is equal to what? We do not know. So according to this 10, it's going to give us more. So that will be 10 over 5 multiplied by 24,000. So by doing this, multiply, which is 2 by 24, which is 48. So this is going to give us 48,000. All right, so that was it. Number 5, we are given a kite. In this case, the diagram shows a kite in which the given sides are given as shown. And here we are given that ABC, take note here, given that a triangle ABC is the image of triangle ADC. So you've got ABC, this triangle here is the image of what? Of ADC, which means this is our object, this is our image. So the question is on A, describe fully the single transformation. So what is the transformation? Obviously, the transformation is the one that is mapping triangle ADC onto ABC, which is what? Which is the image. Okay, this is a kite, guys, where we know that this side, if it is 5, this is also 5 AD. If BC is 12, this is also 12. And we know that AC is the common side for both these two triangles. These two triangles are actually the same. They are congruent to each other. So when you see this type of a transformation, therefore, it's going to be a reflection. As we can see, guys, we just reflected this triangle to this triangle. As you can see, it's like this is your mirror line, this AC. So this one, it was actually a reflection. All right. So that means in this case, we can actually describe our transformation. It is a reflection. All right, so we're going to have a reflection in this case. Then remember, we need the equation of mirror line whenever we are dealing with the reflection. So you can just even write here mirror line about AC. So you can write mirror line. Okay, so you need equation of mirror line about AC, equation of mirror line about this line that is AC, the line that is what? Dividing the shape into two quarters. So we just mapped our triangle along this line. This is going to give us the object and the image concept. Okay, so that was the question on describing. What about the other part, which is calculate now the area of the kite? So the B part here, guys, it was easier for us to say, since this is a right angle triangle and also this is a right angle, and these two, they are the same. So it was easier for us to calculate area of one triangle, then you multiply by 2. All right, so because they are the same, so you know that area of a triangle is half AB, half AB by height. Let me just write the way that we are used, guys, because if I use this, it's gonna affect us. So just have half A, half BH, which is half base times the perpendicular height. But whatever that you're going to get, you multiply by 2, because the same triangle that you see here is the one that you see on the other side. So this is going to be half times the base, which is 12, times the height, which is the one that is at 90 degrees, which is 5. So like I was saying, this has to be multiplied to 2. All right, so we can affect here 6 by 5, that is 30, 30 by 2, which is 60. So we are going to have 60 square centimeters as our area of the triangle, of the total kite that we are given there. So that was the concept on this question. Just 3 marks for that. As you can see, guys, some of these questions, they're actually clear. You just have to work on match questions and revisions. It can actually help in our practices. I think it can actually help. Okay, so let us cross check another question. Question 6, giving your answer as a common fraction in its lowest terms. So take note, guys, in lowest terms, find the value of 3/16 times 3,2. So this one we can simply take note as a common fraction. So it's either you can convert this to be a common fraction, or you can work with it like that. Okay, 3/16 times 3,2. So you can divide here 16 into 16, that's 1. 16 into 3, that's a 0 here, comma. We put a 3 here, so it's now 16 into 32, which is going to give us 2. So we are left with the 3 times 0,2, which is 3 times 2, which is 6, which is 0,6. But take note, we are saying as a common fraction. So 0,6 as a fraction, that is 6/10. Then you can reduce by 2, which is 3, by 2, which is 5. So it was going to give us 3/5. All right, the B part, find the value of x. Okay, this is an equation, guys. As you can see, we can just solve this side. We can add 5/12 plus 3/4. So you just have to find the LCM of the 2. 3. Okay, it's 5/12 here plus 3/4. So what is the LCM? It's 12. 12 into 12, that's 1 times 5, which is 5, plus 12 divided by 4, that is 3. 3 by 3, which is 9. So you can add this 2, it's going to give us 18/12. 9 plus 4 is 14. So this is actually going to give us something like a 14, okay? So let me just write it here. It's a 14 here. All right, so this is 14/12, which we can reduce here by 2, which is 7, by 2, which is 6. So it's going to give us 7/6 here. So to find x, what are you going to do? You can now cross multiply here, cross multiply. That will be 6 times 1, which is 6, is equal to 7 times x, which is 7x. So to find x, simply divide by 7 both sides. So x is 6/7. So that was the idea of the question that we had in this case. As you can see, guys, a matter of understanding what you're given. Okay, simplify. What are we supposed to do here? Well, definitely, we are supposed to work with our board mass or bomb task, depending on what you actually understand here. So on the top, which is the numerator here, we have got multiplication, which is going to start before it changes to multiply 2 by 7 here, which is going to give us 14. But take note, there's a fraction, so which means we're going to add these 2, which is multiply here 4 plus, which is 7/4. So we're going to have 7/4 plus 14, because we've multiplied 2 by what? 2 by 7. So you can simplify these 2 aside, okay? So we have to find the LCM, which is 4 and 1. 4 divided by 4, that's 1 times 7, which is 7, plus 4 divided by 1, that's 4 times 14, which is 56. Remember, paper 1, guys, you must be very, very fast, even on your calculations. They take so that you don't take much time. And this, if you add, you're going to get 63/4. This is from the numerator. We do the same in the denominator here. We are dividing here board mass, so division. So we're dividing 10 and 2. So these two divide each other. So 10 divided by 2, that is 5 minus 2, and 5 minus 2, which gives us 3. So in the numerator, we are getting 3. So this is what, in the denominator, we are getting 3. So what does this part mean? It means 63/4 divide by this part, which was in the denominator. So you can write it like this, divide by 3, because remember, in the denominator, we obtained 3. So from there, we can simplify further. This is same as 3/1. As we know, guys, whenever you're dealing with division, introduce your multiplication is supposed to be 1/3. Then from there, we can reduce 3 into 3, that is 1 into 60. 3 is going to be 21. So at the end, that means we are going to have 21 times 1, which is 21 over 4. So 4 into 21, that's something like 5 into 20, remainder 1 over 4. So that was the idea there. So just simplify, either is a decimal, is a common fraction. You are not told about the answer, just leave it in the way that is applicable to you. Number 9 in the diagram, we are given that BCD is a straight line. So this is a straight line, and we are given these two angles. Calculate first one, ACD, which is ACD, this angle that we have here. So as you can see, guys, ACD is an exterior angle, where we say that the exterior angle is equal to the sum of the opposite interior. This is the interior angle, but the opposite interior, which is these two angles. So this angle is simply 75 plus 65. So if we add 75 plus 65, what are we going to obtain? That is the question. I think I skipped something, that number 9 before. Okay, anyways, I'm going to cross-check that one. So if we add this, is going to be something like 140 degrees. Okay, so we've got 140 degrees here. Then BACB. ACB, we are referring to this angle now. So ACB, since we said this is 140, and we remember we said this is a straight line, so we're just going to subtract from 180 minus 140, which is 40 degrees. So that's what you're simply having in this case, which is going to give us 40 degrees. So we've got 40 degrees here. And the other part of the question is the reflex BAC. So take note, we are given angle BAC before. This is our BAC here, the one that we are given, BAC. But now we need the reflex, which is this other angle here. So how do you find the reflex? Simply subtract from what? 360. So 360 minus 275, which is going to give us 285. So this angle was going to give us 285 degrees. All right, so let us cross-check that question that we skipped here. Okay, number 7. Okay, there's another. Okay, number 8 here. Evaluate. So here, guys, the method of applying your laws of exponents. This is 25 to the power of minus 1 times 5 to the power of 2 times 125 to the power of a third. If I'm not mistaken there, it's not that clear, but I think that was the idea. This minus a third, or is a third? I actually do not understand what was there. So I think it's just a third. So if it was minus, it's fine, but I just want you to have the idea that here we're supposed to write in terms of what? The same base, which is 5. So you can write in terms of the same base. So this 25 here in base of 5 is 5 to the power of 2 times minus 1, which was already there. So it's going to be minus 2 times already 5 is in simplest form. That's 5 to the power of 2 times 125 is same as 5 to the power of 3, but we are going to multiply with a third. So if we multiply, this is going to give us 1, which is 5 to the power of 1. So what are you going to do? We are multiplying the bases, which are the same now. So you can simply add the powers, which is minus 2 plus 2 plus 1. You add everything. So here we're going to obtain minus 2 plus 2, that's a 0, 0 plus 1, which is 1. So 5 to the power 1, which is 5. So that was the idea on this question. Okay, solve the equation. We are now back to your exponents again. So this is 6x to the exponent of minus 3, which is equal to 48. So remember, guys, we can just divide by 6 to remove this 6, which is multiplying 6 into 48, that's something like 3. So from this part, that's 8. Then now we can, how do you remove the negative exponent here that we are having? It's an exponent. We just want to remain with x. So we find the inverse. So we multiply by the inverse of minus 3. So inverse of minus 3, that's what? That's minus 1 over 3. Inverse simply means 1 over, so it's going to be minus 1 over 3. Everything is affected by to the exponent of minus 1 over 3. So this whole part here is going to give us a 1. So x is going to be 8 to the exponent of what? Minus 1 over 3. So from this stage, we are now back on exponents, where you know that whenever you're given a negative exponent, how do you remove the negative? It's 1 over. So x is equal to 1 over 8 to the exponent of a third. Then to the exponent of a third means the cube root of, that is what it means. So this is the cube root of 8. So that's x is what? 1 over 2. The cube root of 8, remember, guys, is 2. So that's what you're going to have in this case. It was a simpler question. Okay, number 10. This one is one of the most important part that I want us to understand, because it carries some of the concept that we We just need to know before we are in exam, guys. Okay, in the diagram, EC is parallel. We are given that these two lines, they are parallel, EC and AB. And also these ones are also parallel, AE and what, and BC. That makes this to be a parallelogram, okay? So that is what you are going to have. Then we are given that the area of the parallelogram ABDE. So we've got ABDE, this parallelogram here, it has got an area of 45 square centimeters. And we are given that EC from E to C, this is what we are given, which is 6 centimeters. From E to C, we've got 6 centimeters in this case. Okay, so from this part that we are given, take note, we are having we are now asked to find the length of ED. This is what we now need. The length from E to D, this one. What is the length now from this E to D? All right. So this is what we are going to have. Okay, here we are given that the perpendicular distance AB. So okay, I'm taking this one. That's why it was now like, what is happening here? Okay, this issue of not reading the question properly, you see, guys. Okay, we are given that the perpendicular distance between AB and EC is 6 centimeters. So this is actually the perpendicular distance between these two lines, AB, which is AB and EC. So there's a perpendicular distance in just anyway, and it can be here, it can be at any point. But what you just need to know is that you've got a perpendicular height of 6 centimeters. So the question is for us to calculate E to D, this one, E to D. So what are you going to do to find your E to D? You can simply apply this concept. Remember, you're given area of a parallelogram where there's a perpendicular distance. So whenever there's a perpendicular distance, area of a parallelogram is going to be base times height, which is the perpendicular height. So that is what you're going to have. The area is 45, which is equal to the base, which is the ED that you're calculating. So it's going to be ED times the height now. So the height is the one that you're given, which is the perpendicular height of 6. So to find ED, simply divide by 6 by 6. So that means our ED is going to be 6 into 45. That is actually 7. So we're going to have 7.5 centimeters. So this is our ED from E to D. We've got 7.5 centimeters. So you see the concept, guys. Whenever you're given this type of equation, a parallelogram, if you're given a parallelogram, the area is base times perpendicular height, or you can use AB sine theta, provided that there's an angle, you can use AB sine theta. But if you are given a perpendicular height, it's base times what? Perpendicular height. Okay, then anyways, on B, the area of what? Triangle ABC. So we need the area of triangle ABC. So what are you seeing that these two shapes, the parallelogram and the triangle, they are on the same base, they share the same height. Remember, guys, this is area of a parallelogram, AB sine theta, or base times height. If you cross-check on the area of a triangle, it's half base times perpendicular height. But I want us to see, we are saying base times perpendicular height, this one, is the area of what? Of a parallelogram. So it means area of a triangle is simply half the area of a parallelogram. This base times height, this one, that's your parallelogram. So what are you simply doing? You're simply finding half the area of a box is already there. The area of a parallelogram, we are given that the parallelogram has got an area of what? 45. So half of 45, that becomes the area of what? Of a triangle, simple like that. So it's gonna be 22.5 square centimeters. So guys, you must know the formula and also to interpret from that formula. That is what is important, because here's an interpretation that we are doing to say, because we already know that base times height, this one is our parallelogram, but from the triangle, it's half A now, half base times height, or even this one, we know half AB sine theta. But we say the one of a parallelogram, it's AB sine theta, as you can see here. So it's simply half of this AB sine theta, this one, which is what? Which is your parallelogram. So that was the concept there. So you simply multiply by half the area that you're given of the parallelogram to find the one of what? Of a triangle, provided that they are sharing the same base and height. Okay, number 11, express 17.5% as a common fraction in its lowest term. So this is 17.5%, guys. So what are you going to do? Simply apply, multiply, or you can even just 17.5. This is 17.5%. Okay, so how do you remove a percentage? To remove a percentage, you divide by 100. So this is going to be 17.5 over 100. So having a decimal here, so you can just multiply by 10 over 10 to remove the comma, and this will be 175 because you're moving one comma to the right. So it will be 175 over 100 by 10, which is 1000. But we can't leave our answer like this. We can just reduce by 25 into 175 or 25 into 100. We just reduce stage by stage. This is going to give us a 7 over 25 into 100, that's 4 into 10, which is 40. So it's going to be 7 over 40. All right, expressed as a single fraction, already here we can see that the denominators are the same. So just have 2, then we subtract. So it's x minus, but take note, what are you subtracting? You are subtracting x minus 1. So you're going to put that one in a bracket, x minus 1. Okay, so multiply by negative. So it's x minus times x minus x minus times minus 1, which is a plus 1, everything over 2. So x minus x, that's a 0. So 0 plus 1, which is 1 over 2. So our answer was going to be 1 over 2. Guys, whenever you see these simpler questions like this, take them with a pinch of salt, because it will be like it's an easy question, while you do a lot of errors in answering these typical questions. Okay, anyways, we are given this a diagram that we're given under bearing and all the information. Calculate PAB. PAB, we need this angle here. Okay, how can we calculate this angle? Remember, guys, this is a north pole and also this is a north pole. So these two lines, they're actually parallel to each other. So by knowing this angle at B, this one, I can know this angle at A. Why? These are co-interior angles. So how do we know this angle at B? The angle at B, we can simply use this concept to say angles at a point that up to 360 degrees. So I'm going to subtract these two angles from 360 degrees, which means I'm subtracting 160 plus 90 degrees. Okay, 160 plus 90, that's going to be 360 minus 250, of which 360 minus 250, we are going to have something like 100 degrees. This is actually 250, the 250 that you're going to have, so it's going to be 110 degrees. Okay, so this is going to be 110 degrees. Okay, from 180, then it's going to be angle A now. So the angle A is going to be 180 minus 110, because these are now like on the co-interior angle. So if we subtract, this is going to be 70 degrees. Okay, so you're going to have 70 degrees. Okay, let me just confirm 1 or 2 here so that we do not have problems. It's 180 minus 160 plus 90. So this is 160 plus 90 degrees. Okay, that's actually 70. All right. Well, we need the 360, sorry, the first one was 360. Like this, it was 360, okay, which is 110, then 110 from 180, which is going to give us 70. All right, so this one is fine. We're going to have 70 there. Okay, find the three-figure bearing of B from C. So this is now B from C, which means you're starting from this point C. Remember, guys, I told you that at that point, you have to indicate your north pole. Then from the north pole, this is three-figure bearing, which is taken from the north in a clockwise direction. So from the north in a clockwise direction until we get the line which goes to B, because it's B from C. So until you meet this line, which is reaching C, B, this one. So this is the whole angle that you need. So instead of finding this whole angle, I can simply find this angle here between the north pole and the angle to be this one, because these are now parallel lines. So I know if this is 160, I'm going to subtract from 180. 180 minus 160, that is 20 degrees. So if this angle is 20 degrees, but I know that angles at a point they add up to 360, so it's going to be 360 minus 20 degrees, which is 340 degrees. All right, so that is going to be our three-figure bearing, sorry, which is what? Which is 340 degrees. Okay, so that was number 12. Number 13, we are now given a Cartesian plane. We've got the equations actually. This is y is equal to 3x. This line here is x plus y is equal to 4. All right, so this is what we are given. And from this information, the question now is for us to write down the three inequalities which define the unshaded. Take note, we are talking about the region which is not shaded, which means we're talking about this region which is written R here. So guys, I told you already that what you need are the equations of the lines, and already here we are given the equations. The first one, we are already given that y is equal to 3x. So what is the inequality? As you can see, the part that is shaded, remember I told you guys, this is the greater side, this is the lesser side in terms of what? In terms of y. Our values of y, they are going to be less on this side, bigger on this side. So as we need the lesser side, so which means y is less than 3x. And if we can, it's a broken line, so it means it just remains like that. Okay, we move on to this one. This is the greater side, this is the lesser side. So we are given x plus y is equal to 4. So it's going to be x plus y is less than 4. But because our line is a continuous line like this one, it's a continuous line, so it's going to be less than or equal to. All right, the last one, which one is this one? We are talking about this line. This one, they never gave us the equation, which means you need to find the equation first. What is the equation of the x-axis? We know that this one, y is equal to 0. So that's our equation, y is equal to 0. But according to this line, this is the greater side, this is the lesser side. So as we need this one on top, which is the greater side. So we are saying y is greater than 0. And it's a continuous line, so it's going to be greater than or equal to 0 like that. So those are the three inequalities actually. The first one here, the second one here, the third one here. So those are the three inequalities which define the region which is not shaded. So that's how you simply take that part. You just need to understand like the concept there. Okay. Use the diagram above to write down Pythagoras theorem in terms of x, y, and z. So you're writing the Pythagoras theorem in terms of x, y, and z. This is our x, this is our y here. Sorry, just want to change this to pen mode. This is our y here. Okay, this is our z. So from this part that you are here, remember Pythagoras, guys, is the hypotenuse squared, which is equal to a squared plus b squared, where h is the hypotenuse and our hypotenuse in this case is z. So we are saying z squared is equal to a and b. These are the shorter sides, which is x and y. So it's going to be x squared plus y squared. Done. So that was the question. An equilateral triangle is of side 18 centimeters. Calculate the length of its altitude. So the altitude is the perpendicular height. And that one instead from take note, guys, it's an equilateral triangle where we know that all sides are equal, 18, 18, 18. So the altitude is drawn from the what? From the vertex to the what? To the base of the triangle. And this one is going to be at 90 degrees. That's your altitude. So we are simply calculating the altitude. Let's just say this is x. How are you going to have this x? Remember, guys, it's an equilateral triangle, and this line is going to divide into two equal parts, which means from the 18 that we're having, we're going to have 9, 9. So this is going to be 9, this is going to be 9. So we are left now with a triangle. We can take one of the triangles because it's these are congruent triangles. So this is x, this is 18, this is 9, and you want to calculate x, which is the altitude, this one, the perpendicular height. This is the one that you're talking about. So from your Pythagoras theorem, remember you stated that Pythagoras theorem is equal, h squared is equal to a squared plus b squared, where h is the hypotenuse and our hypotenuse in this case is 18. So 18 squared is equal to the sum of the shorter sides, which is in this case we're talking about x and 9, so it's going to be x squared plus 9 squared. So 18 times 18, that's something like 324, if I'm not mistaken here. So by paper one, we are not supposed to be having any calculator, but I'm just using as a confirmation. So this is going to be x squared plus 81. Then we can transpose the 81 to the left-hand side. That's 324 minus 81, which is equal to x squared. So if you are to subtract this, that's where we're going to have our x squared being equal to 243. So to find x, what are you going to do? Introduce the square root both sides. That's where they are saying leave your answer in set form because we can't simplify this square root. So that's where we are going to leave it in set form under the square root. So our answer is going to be under the square root as a square root of 243. Or we can simplify further if you want, but you can leave your answer like this. Okay, if you want to simplify further, we can take 81 times 3 because 81 is the highest perfect square that we have. 81 times 3, that's 243. And the square root of 81, that's 9 square root of 3. Or you can use that concept that I told you guys of writing your answer as a product of its prime factors. And after writing as a product of its prime factors, what do? You say the numbers which has got pairs, you write them outside of the square root, the one which has got which do not have pairs, you write them inside the square root. So that was actually the concept that you could opted to use from this one. So I don't know It is clear, but that is the idea there. Number 15, we are now given that it's a pie chart. We've got teachers, doctors, lawyers. The pie chart shows professionals in town A. So these are the professionals that we have. Calculate the value of X. So to find the value of X, guys, we just use this is a pie chart. When you know that in a pie chart, all these angles, they add up to 360 degrees was a complete revolution. So if we add the degrees for the teachers, which is 150, plus X, all these we must obtain 360 degrees. So you can formulate an equation 150 plus X plus 2X, which is equal to 360. So that means we can add this. This is same as 1X. So 1 plus 2, that's 3X is equal to 360 degrees minus 150 if we transpose this to the right-hand side. So 3X is equivalent to 360 minus 150. We can simplify that one is going to be 210 degrees. All right, so this will be 210. So you can divide by 3. So our X is going to be 70. All right, so the X that you're talking about here is 70. So here is same as 2 times 70, which is 140. This one is 70. But you are not told to do that. I'm just saying this is what does it mean actually. Okay, so we've got our value of X here, which is 70 degrees. Then given that there are 900 teachers in the town, find the number of doctors. Okay, so what are you simply doing? From this percentage that we have, from this X that we got here, we are saying the X that you're talking about is the one that is representing the doctors. Okay, doctors here are represented by X, which is 70. So 70 degrees is the one that is equivalent to the doctors, which we do not know. So we do not know the number of doctors, but we are given that 900 teachers are there, and the teachers that we see are represented by 150 degrees. So we are simply saying 150 degrees is representing 900. What about 70? What does it represent? So it's your simple proportion. As you can see, this is going to be less. So 70 over 150 times 900. So you can simplify from there so that we can obtain the equivalent of this. 15 into 90, this is going to be something like 40 there if you multiply, and to be 280. It's going to be 280 there. Is that so? Okay, this was supposed to be 30, 60, supposed to be 60 here, 60. Then we can multiply by 7 here, 0 here, by 7 here, which is 42. So it's going to give us 420 from this part. Actually, that's what you're going to obtain. So it's just so which means there we are obtaining the number of doctors direct. So it means they are going to have 420 of them from this information that we are. So which is a matter of just playing around with these questions, guys, as you can see. Let us see the other question, which is number 16. Study the pattern below. So you're given the pattern to study. So guys, whenever you're given these typical questions, you just have to study whatever that you. So from what I was studying here, just so that here we are just adding here, this one to this one, we get this, 4 plus 3, we get this. That was only the thing that was happening here. You can study properly. So it's the same thing here, 3 plus 2, we get 5, 5 plus 3, we get 8, 8 plus this, we get this, 2 plus 1, we get this. So it means 3 plus 1 is going to give us this. So that was the concept there, guys, as you can see. So if I add this 3 plus 1 here, I'm going to get 4. So 4 plus 1, I'm supposed to get this. So 4 plus 1, that is 5. Then we can get back to those numbers. 8 plus m is n. So 8 plus 4, this is 12. And 20 plus 12, which is 32 here. So that was actually the idea. So it means our m, we've got our m, which is 4. Our n here, which is 12, that is our n, which is going to give us 12. Our p is 32 because we added here, so it's 32. What else do we have, which is q? Our q, which was 5. So q here, this is actually 5. Okay, so you just take now from those answers that you're already having from your diagram. So study the diagram, the pattern that you are given. You just have to study what is happening on this pattern. That is what the idea there. Okay, factorize completely. So you're given to factorize here. So as you can see, 4 is common. Before we talk of difference of two squares, 4 is common. So which means I can factor out 4 here. That means I'm going to be left 40 squared divided by 4, that's t squared, minus 36 divided by 4, which is going to give us 9b squared. Then we can factorize our difference of two squares. We have two brackets, the perfect square, square root of t squared, that's t, plus square root of 9, which is 3, square root of b squared, which is b. Another one is going to subtract the square roots, which is t minus 3b, just like that. The other part, solve the equation. So here, guys, just have to expand brackets because we've got brackets here. So it's p plus 2 is equal to 5. What is expanding the bracket is minus 4. So it's minus 4 times p, that's minus 4p, minus 4 times 2, which is minus 8. From there, you can collect like terms. So you can transpose here, which is going to be p plus 4p is equal to 5 minus 8, which is already here. Transpose the 2 to this side, it's going to be minus 2. So this one is same as 1p, so it's 1 plus 4 here, which is 5p, is equal to 5 minus 8, which is minus 3, minus 2, which is minus 5. So you can divide by 5 both sides. So that means our p is going to be negative 1. Okay, so that is the value of p, which is negative 1. So let's cross check the number 18. Okay, a given matrix is P, Q, and R. Write down the order of matrix R. So here we just need the order. So as you can see, guys, we've got 2 rows and 1 column. So this one is a 2 by 1 matrix. That is the order. Or you can write it as 2 by 1 column matrix or just 2 by 1. Okay. Then B, find P plus Q. So P, we're just simply taking our matrix P here. So this is B item 1. What is our P? Our P is 5, 3, negative 1, 2. Whatever that you're going to have, we add to Q, which is minus 2, 2, 4, minus 3. Okay, so to add this part, you're going to have 5 plus minus 2, which is going to give us minus 5 minus 2. Because we've got 5 plus minus 2. So plus and minus, that's a minus, is going to give us 3. 3 plus 2 here, which is 5. Minus 1 plus 4, which is going to give us 3 again. 2 plus minus 3, so it's 2 minus 3, which is negative 1. So this is going to give us negative 1 in this case. So that is our P plus Q. Then QR, which means we are multiplying Q times R here. That is our item 2. So we're going to multiply Q, which is negative 2, 4, 2, negative 3. By matrix R here, this is our R, which is 2, negative 1. So row by column. That means we can have our answer here. So we've got this row by the first column. So as you can see, we're just multiplying minus 2 by 2, which is negative 2, plus 2 times negative 1, which is negative 2. Then this row versus the other column, that column that we had before. So it's 4 by 2, which is 8, plus negative 3 and negative 1 is a positive 3. So that means you can combine your terms, plus and minus, that's a minus. So you're going to have minus 2, which is negative 4. 8 plus 3, which is 11. So this is going to give us minus 4, 11. So that's it. Here we've got minus 4 here. Let's just see. I hope someone actually saw this part here. Okay, this is issue of network now. It's misbehaving this part. Okay, this is negative 2 by 2 here, which is negative 4. Then negative 4, negative 2, which is negative 6 here. All right, so it's going to be negative 6. I just hope, yeah, we are following together. It actually helps in your revision. Okay, estimate correct one significant figure. So you just have to round off to one significant figure, each and every digit that we are having, or each and every number. So the first one, 4,000, 4 here, all these cannot change. So it's going to remain as 4. All these became 0, 2, 4. So it's going to be 40,000. Over 51, 5. This one cannot change 5, so it's going to be 50. 410, this one cannot change 4, so it's going to be 400. That's it. Then can we reduce a 0 here, 0 here, 2 zeros here, 2 zeros here, 4 and 4, 1, 4 and 4, that's 10. 5 into 10, that's 2. So everything is going to give us 2. So that was the idea there. Then write down from this part, guys, all you need is to list up your values of A. Yeah, like your A is going to range from 4 to 8. So which means the value of A that you're going to focus with, you just focus with 4 and 8. The B that you're going to focus with, in this case, you're just going to focus with what? The minimum and maximum, which is 3 and 5. So these are the values that you need for B. For C, we are going to focus with 7 and 9. Since these are just positive values, just focus with these ones. Then the question is find the maximum, the minimum, actually the maximum value of C minus B. So the first question is maximum of C minus B. So what are they saying is just take one value from C. If you take this value from C and you subtract B, you are supposed to get the maximum. So in this case, I actually see that the maximum can be obtained if our C is 9 and we've got 9 minus our B, which is 3. Maximum, and I think it can give us the maximum of this one, which is 6. So it's a trial and error question. Try your numbers until you get the minimum or the maximum according to what you're given. Okay, then the minimum value of C plus A over B. For this to be minimum, it means this number on top has to be the smallest one, and this number has to be the biggest one. Therefore, you can obtain the minimum value. Okay, so it means C plus A, we are adding C to A. So for us to have the minimum, definitely we are going to add this 7 and this 4. So it means we are going to have 7 plus 4, that is C plus A over B. B, which one is the maximum? The maximum is 5. So this is going to give us actually 11 over 5. 5 into 11, or you can leave it like that, which is 2 and 1 over 5. This is the minimum value that we can get. So it's up to you. Guys, can we cross-check if we can have any other minimum value besides this one? Then it's actually wonderful for us to know for anything that we're going to have. We are given the numbers here which are in ascending order, which means they are already in increasing from 4 up to the maximum. Given that the mode is 8, find the value of K. If the mode is 8, it means we are supposed to have the more number of 8, and we only have 1 8. So it means definitely our K is going to be 8 because the mode has to be the one with the highest number, which is appearing the most. Okay, then B, hence, we answer continuation from this K that we have added to say this is your 8. Now find the median. So remember, guys, median is half of the distribution. So you can simply cancel 4 and 18, 7 and 14, this 8 and this 11. Then you'll be left in the middle with 8 and 10. So what is going to be the middle term? Because there are two numbers here. So which means our median, we're going to add 8 plus 10 over 2. So that's 18 over 2, which is 9. So that was our median. Then mean, remember guys, mean is sum of terms over number of terms. So you're going to add all these terms that we are given here, sum of these terms over number of terms. All right. So if we add these terms, we're going to obtain something like 80 over the number of terms. How many are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's over 8. So it's going to be 10. So that was the mean sum of terms over number of terms, just like that. Okay, 21, solve the inequality. What are you going to do here? We just transpose the minus 2 this side or 4 this side. So it's going to be 10 minus 4 is less than, this is an inequality. So it's less than here. The minus 2y to this side is going to be a positive 2y. So 6 is less than 2y. So you can divide by 2 by 2. That means y is greater than 2 into 6, which is 3. So y is greater than 3. Or you can write it like this, y is greater than 3. So that was the idea there. If you choose to leave minus 2 on that side, take note whenever you divide by a negative, the inequality sign changes. Maybe you wanted to remain with minus 2y here. It was going to be like this. Minus 2y is less than 4. We transpose 10 to this side, it becomes minus 10, like this, minus 10, sorry. So it will be minus 2y is less than 4 minus 10, which is negative 6. The moment you divide by negative 2 by negative 2, take note, you are under inequalities. So this inequality sign is going to reverse. So it's going to change its position. It's like what it is. So it's going to be greater than like that. Okay, so this will be 3. Okay, anyways, the B part of the equation, it's no longer an inequality, it's now a quadratic equation that you are given. But this type of quadratic, you can simply solve it in an easier way without expanding the brackets. We can simply solve this in an easier way by removing the square that we see here, the square. So how do I remove the square? I know that I have to introduce the square root for sides. By introducing the square root, I know that the square root of any number is a plus or minus. So this is going to be plus or minus 7. So I'm going to separate now to say 2x minus 3 is equal to plus 7, or 2x minus 3 is equal to minus 7, because I've got two answers here, plus or minus. So So for x, 2x is going to be minus 3 to the side is going to be 3 plus 7. 2x is equal to 10. So to find x, we can divide by 2 by 2. That means our x is 5. Or on this side, we can transpose the minus 3 to this side is going to be 2x is 3 minus 7. So 2x is equivalent to 3 minus 7, that's negative 4 divided by 2 by 2. That means our x is going to be negative 2. So these are the actual values, x being 5 or another x being negative 2, just like that. So that was the idea of the question. Then on this part, we are given, it was actually mensuration. So in this diagram, we're given, this is a square, 7, 7, 7. So which means this is 7, this is 7, this is also 7, it's a square. These are quadrants that you are given now. So the first question here was to calculate the perimeter of the shaded part. So perimeter, guys, we're talking about this region that is being shaded here that I'm showing here. So we need the perimeter of this region. Okay, so if you are to see the tricky part, we're just supposed to separate this into another, like into like a quadrant, one quadrant like this. You work one quadrant. This is the length of one quadrant times the length of the other one. So you just calculate the length of one quadrant, length of arc, then you multiply by 2. Since this is perimeter, so perimeter is distance right round. So it's length of arc of one quadrant plus length of arc of another quadrant to give us this perimeter. So that was the case. So our perimeter is going to be from the length of arc. So it was going to be length of arc of 1 times what? Times 2. Since there are 2 which are the congruent, they're actually congruent figures, or they are the same. So remember that length of arc is taken from theta over 360 times 2 pi r. But here's a special one because a quadrant. Quadrant means a quarter, like they are divided into 4 parts. So it's going to be 1 over 4. So it's 1 over 4 times pi, which is 3 and 1 over 7. That's 3 times 7, which is 21, plus 2, which is 22 over 7. So this is 22 over 7 times the radius, which is 7. Okay, so this is 1 times 2, whatever that you're going to have. So you have to simplify, play around with your values here. That's 2, 2, 11, 7 and 7 cancel, 2, 1, 2 cancel. So you're going to remain with 11 actually here. So after, there is a 2 here that is remaining. Okay, so it's going to be 2 times 2, which is 22 centimeters. Okay, remember it's 2 pi r, the 2 pi r. So there's a pi, which is this one, the 2 pi r. Okay, so it will be 22 centimeters. I think it can make sense. The area of the shaded part, so same with the area of the shaded part, but this one, I want you to see what is happening with the shaded part. For the shaded part, we've got 2 things here. We can separate like this. The shaded part of, let's say we are considering this quadrant here, we are working with this side. If we wanted to calculate this shaded part, what do? We have to calculate the area of the sector minus the area of the triangle. But because there are 2, we are going to say that area times 2 because they are just the same. So it's area of a sector minus area of a triangle. Okay, so that means area of a sector minus area of a triangle. But whatever that you're going to get, you have to multiply by 2. That is the case. But how do you find this area of a sector? Theta over 360 this time times pi r squared. So it's going to be times pi r squared, whereby theta over 360 is a quadrant, so it's going to be 1 over 4. So you're going to have 1 over 4 times pi. Remember, we simplified our pi, it ended to give us 22 over 7 times r squared, which is radius squared. So it's 7 times 7, or 7 squared, like that, or 7 times 7 minus the area of a triangle. Remember, area of a triangle, half base times perpendicular height. So it's going to be half times 7 times 7. So this is what you're going to have. Whatever that we get, we multiply by 2. There are 2 figures which are the same. That's why we have to multiply by 2. So it's a matter of you reducing your answers here. But if I'm not mistaken, this we are going to get something like 77 here over 2 minus here 49 over 2. And whatever that we get, to multiply by 2. Okay, so 77 minus 49, that's 28. So it's going to be 28 over 2. Whatever that we get, to multiply by 2. 2 into 28, that is 14. 14 times 2, which is 28. This is area. So it is going to give us 28 square centimeters. So it was actually an issue of separating your triangle into 2 equal parts. Then from there, you can actually simplify as much as you can. So that's the case in some. All right, let us see the other part, the one that you're given is actually your circle geometry. So just try to fill in some of these diagrams, just try to fill in and see what actually look like. So we're given to find all these angles. I'm just going to try to fill in if possible. We're given the parallines, all that. So from the parallines, okay, let's start with the 28. The 28 here is going to give us twice here, because remember guys, from the chord C, the angle at the center here at O is twice this one at the circumference. So it's 28 times 2, which is going to give us 56. Okay, so this is going to give us 56 degrees. And from the parallel lines, we can see the corresponding angles, this angle and this angle, they correspond to each other. So this 56 that we see is the same as this one, which is 56. All right, then we've got the radius concept. Remember guys, this is radius from O to C, from O to D, they are right concepts, which means it's the same thing here from O to A, from O to B. It means these two angles are the same. So if this is 56, this is also 56. The same thing here, this and the whole of this angle D and the whole of this angle at C, they're the same. So which means we can subtract 180 from 56, then you divide. Then also here we're going to create a Z here, as you can see from the power lines. Are you seeing we're creating a Z from A to B to O to C? So if this is 56, this is also 56. And we can also find this from chord BC, angle at the center is twice angle at the circumference, which means this angle at D is going to be half of this 56, which is 28. So there are so many ways, and we can find a lot of angles actually. So, and also you can find this one from these two, 56 plus 56 from 180. You can find this. So let us see what we have here. The first question is calculate COD. Okay, let's see if we've got COD. COD, so it's 56. So this one we have it, it's 56 degrees. BAD, it's already there, 56 again. So this one is 56 degrees. BDC, so you've got BDC, BDC, we said that one is 28. So this is 28 degrees. BOC, I want to see the BOC part here, which is BOC, this one, which is 56. So all these angles, they're already there. So you can actually fill in your diagram. If it is fine with you, then it's going to be easier. That way, if you fill in your diagram, then it's just taking out your answers now. Okay, number 24, we are given the velocity time graph. The diagram shows the velocity time graph of a moving object right down the initial. So initial velocity, that is your starting point. We are starting at what? At 5. This is velocity in meters per second. So which means our initial velocity is 5 meters per second. Then the other question, find the duration when the acceleration of the object was 0. So acceleration is equal to 0 when there is a horizontal line, when velocity is constant, which means you're talking about from this point, let's just say this is A, this is B. That is where acceleration is 0, it's constant. So how many seconds? From 4 up to 10, you simply subtract 10 minus 4, which is 6 seconds. So this was going to be, the duration is time. So this is 6 seconds. All right, then calculate the total distance traveled by the object. So how do I find the distance? Remember, distance is area under the graph. So to find this distance, I'm just going to use area. Okay, so that is area under the graph, and I'm just going to separate in a way that you understand. You can use this trapezium, this rectangle, and this triangle here. Okay, so using this trapezium here, remember area of a trapezium is half sum of parallel size times perpendicular height. So it's going to be half sum, which is the parallel size 5 here, plus from this point, which is 15, 5 plus 15 times the height, which is from 0 to 4. That's your height times 4. So this is the first area, plus the second one of a rectangle, length times width. So it's 15 times, we said yes, 6, duration, remember it was 6. So it's 15 times 6, 15 times 6 of a rectangle, plus the last one, a right angle triangle, which is half base times perpendicular height. So it's going to be half of the base, all right, which is the base is from 10 to 15, that is 5, times the height, which is 15. So that is what you're going to obtain. All right, so guys, as you can see, you have to combine everything in this case. And if you combine, you're going to obtain something like 167.5 meters, if I'm not mistaken. Just have to simplify as much as you can. Okay, so just try and see if truly is the same that you are having. Okay, number 25A, convert 2,500 square centimeters to square meters. Guys, we know that in a square meter, we have got 10,000 square centimeters. Since 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters, so square is going to be 10,000. What about 2,500? We have to write it under square centimeters. So what are you going to have in square meters? We do not know actually, so it's just 2,500 over 10,000. Okay, 2,500 over 10,000 times a square meter. So you can reduce the two zeros, 100 into 25, that's 0.25 square meters. So we're going to have 0.25 square meters. Two similar cylindrical mugs have their volumes in the ratio of 8:27. Take note, 8:27, this is the volume factor. Whenever you're given volume, that is volume factor. So the question is, write down the ratio of their heights. Heights, that is scale factor. Guys, I told you height, radius, diameter. As long as it has to deal with length, that is your scale factor. So how do you write from volume factor to scale factor? Just introduce the cube root. Remember that. The cube root for size, cube root for size. So that means the cube root of 8 is 2, the cube root of 27 is 3. So that is our scale factor, which is ratio of size. So it's 2:3. Then take note on the item 2. If the total surface area, take note, what are you given now? You are now given area. So which means before you answer the question, you must find area factor from this scale factor. Remember, area factor is equal to scale factor times 2. So our area factor is going to be 2:3 squared, which is 2 squared is 4:9. So the larger mug has got an area of 63, and this is the larger area of 9. So 9 is equal to 63 square centimeters. What about the one for the smaller mug? The smaller mug has got 4 according to ratio, but what about its actual area now? We can use our proportion, less here. So since it is less, it's going to be 4/9 by 63. That's 9 into 63, be something like 7 there. So 7 times 4, which is 28 square centimeters. So this will be the area now of the smaller shape that we are given. So if you are given area, work with area factor, volume, work with volume factor. If you want to calculate side, you work with scale factor. That is the idea there. Number 26, calculate BD from your Pythagoras theorem, guys. H squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. So we've got hypotenuse. 17 squared is equal to 15 squared plus BD squared. So which means 17 squared, that's 289, this and that. Okay, so which is equal to 225 here plus BD squared. So if we are to transpose here, it's going to be 289 minus 225, which is 64. So 64 is equal to BD squared. Then you can find your square root. So BD is 8 centimeters, square root of that. So I've got BD, which is 8 centimeters. Then write down as a common fraction now on the B part. What are we asked to write down? The value of the sine theta, cos theta, tan theta. Okay, so let us locate where our theta is located. Theta is here, it's an obtuse angle. Okay, so this theta is an obtuse angle. Guys, I told you that for sine theta, if it is an obtuse angle, it is the same as the sine of the acute angle, which is this one inside the triangle. This is our acute angle, this one. So remember sine from your soccer tower. From our soccer tower here, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. The sine theta is opposite over the hypotenuse. So it's 15/17. It remains as positive because so we are talking about sine there. Okay, sine remains as positive, but cos and sine, remember, they take negative. So cos theta is going to be a negative cos an obtuse angle, this one. So we've got cos theta. Remember, cos, it was supposed to be adjacent of hypotenuse. So our adjacent, it's 8, so this side was 8. So it's 8 over the hypotenuse, which is 17, but with a negative because it's an obtuse angle, this one. Okay, then tan theta does the same also. Tan theta gives us a negative, so tan is opposite of adjacent. Opposite of adjacent, so it's 15/8, but with a negative. Make sure that you watch the video on trigonometry, solving triangles there. I talked about all this part, how to actually deal with these angles, so maybe you can understand much from this part. Okay, number 27, we are now given solving triangles, calculate or find AB squared using as much of the information given below. So if still have the same concept that we talked about, this is 60 degrees, which is an acute angle. This one inside is going to be the obtuse angle of 120 degrees. So you do see they are just using the same concept as that one, because if you are to cross check, here we do not have 120, we've got 60, because they know that you have got relationship between these two, acute and obtuse. So the first question was to calculate AB squared. So definitely AB squared, I'm supposed to use cosine rule. Remember cosine rule, if you're given two sides, which is the included and the included angle here, we can calculate the third side, which is A, using the A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cos of what? Cos of A. Whereby in this case, we are referring to the B squared, the A squared is our AB squared. So it's going to be AB squared is equal to the shorter sides, which I mean this side, which is 8 and 6. So it's going to be, okay, let me just write it aside here. If it is going to help, guys, it's actually not shedding, so I don't know if this is going to help me to finish up. So here we're going to have 8 squared plus 6 squared. So it's 8 squared plus 6 squared minus the product of the two, which is 2 times 8 times 6 cos 120 degrees. But in place of cos 120 degrees, that's where we are going to use the negative of cos 60. That's just like what we did on the previous question. So we simplify, this is going to be 64 plus 36 minus 2 times 8 times 6, which is 96. Okay, times cos 120. Cos 120, we take it from cos 60. Cos 60 is 0.5. So that means 120, because it's an obtuse angle, is going to carry a negative, which is negative 0.5. All right, then from there we can add, this is going to give us 100 minus and minus, that's a plus. So you multiply 96 times half is same as 96 times 0.5. That's half of 96. And what is half of 96? Half of 96 is 48. So you can add 100 plus 48, which is 148. That's our AB squared. So that's what you're asked to find in this case. But so which means there's no need for us to introduce any, suppose they said AB squared. So this is your AB squared, which is 148. There's no need for you to introduce any square root there, unless the question asks you to calculate AB. Then you introduce the square root, you leave your answer in set form. Okay, anyways, that was what we had. Then we can move on to the other part, the value of sine BCD, giving your answer as a decimal. So this is BCD here, sine BCD, which means you're going to refer to sine rule. So remember, guys, our sine rule is sine of A over A, which is equal to sine of B over B. So in this case, we need sine BCD, which is BCD, this one. So it's going to be sine BCD over the corresponding side. BCD corresponds with 6. So it's over 6, which is equal to sine the corresponding 60 degrees over its side, which is 9. So from there, we can substitute the values. That is where we are now using the information that we are given here. Or before that, let us remove this 6 by multiplying by 6 both sides. So this can cancel here. So it means sine BCD is going to be equal to 6 times sine 60. So it was supposed to be 6 times sine 60 here, but we have got the value of sine 60 is what? 0.866. So it's 0.866 over 9. Then from there we can play around. Remember, I told to leave this answer as a decimal. Okay, so you can play around your numbers, reduce, I don't know what you're going to have at the end, but here by 3, that's 2, by 3, that is 3. Then you can reduce 3 here, that's 0, into 8, which is 2. That will be 2, remainder, that should be 2 here into 20, which is 8, remainder, so it will be remainder 2, so it is 8, 8, 8, and like that. So if you multiply, you're going to get something like 0.5777, like that. But you're asked to 3 decimal places, so it means it is going to be 0.5123. This 7 is going to change this 7 into 8, so it's going to be 578, like that. Okay, so that was the question. Then the other part, calculate the area of triangle ABD. So ABD, we are referring to this triangle here that we're having here. So this is where we are having our A, B to D. So remember, guys, the area is simply half AB sine theta. So it's going to be half AB sine of theta, whereby the A and the B are the sides which are creating the angle theta of 120 degrees here. So it's going to be half of 9 times 6 times sine theta, which is sine 120. But remember, guys, I told you sine obtuse angle and the sine of the acute angle, they are the same. So this one is not going to change. So, okay, so it's going to be, okay, instead of rewriting this half, we can simplify it here. 3 into 2, that's 1, into 6, that's 3. 3 times 9, which is 27. So this is going to be 27 times sine 120 is same as sine 60, the acute angle, which is this one. And our sine 60 is 0.866, 0.866. So you can multiply the two that we are having. So this is half of 8, not 9 here. This is 8 here, not 9. So it's half of 8 times 6. So it's 3 times 8, which is 24. So this is going to be 24 here. So it's now 24 by what? By 0.66. Guys, this one you just multiply. We're going to get something like 20.784 square centimeters, if I'm not mistaken there. So that's how you simply do these typical questions. So guys, much revisions to be done, more question papers to be done as we are waiting for the exams which are ahead of time. So that's it, guys, from Mensuration African Motives. Till we meet again.